Hi, welcome back to CookAlong Live. Hopefully you enjoyed last week's spaghetti bolognese. This week we're going to make a sausage, leek and apple stew, just what you need for the winter nights we have so far coming up. So what we're going to start off with is we're just going to saute the sausages. I'm just going to get a wooden spoon. So in a saucepan, just put the heat up to medium, spray some oil into the pan. And then saute your sausages. You're going to kind of fry your sausages for around about 10 minutes. Again, it doesn't really have to be exact, as long as they're kind of golden and brown on the outside. So you can use any type of sausage you want. We've gave you pork sausages this week, but you can do chicken sausages, vegan sausages, vegetarian sausages, anything really. Just pick to your choice or your preference. Whilst your sausages are frying away, you're going to start chopping up your veg, ready to chuck in. So just put the heat up to medium and let that kind of boil away. I'm just going to wash my hands quickly. Like always, if you are working with pork or chicken, just make sure to wash your hands once you've finished handling it. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to prep the leeks. So similar to our first week, we're just going to chop the tops and bottoms off. Bear in mind, there will be mud, and just put that into your food waste bag. You're needing 2 large leeks for this recipe. So just chop them up. Then what you're going to do is you're just going to trim, clean, and then chop them up. Chop them to kind of your preference. I like to have it kind of cut it in half and then chopping it up that way. Just means you get into the leek, and when you clean them, you're getting all that mud out, because that's the last thing you want to have is mud in your dish. I would like to say at this point of the video, thank you to Wallyford Community Centre and for Cash for Kids Edinburgh for funding this this round of CookAlong. It really does help to bring communities together, especially around food. So just keep an eye on your sausages as well, just kind of mix them around, make sure they're all getting coated. I'm just going to go and get a colander to put those leeks in, because we're going to wash them. So put your leeks. Leeks are a great alternative for onions if you don't have any onions in the house. It's also good because you can do different things, different soups as well with leek. If you were in a rush for this recipe, what you could do is chop all the veg up, then put it into before time, put it into the freezer, and then when you're ready to cook it, you can just chuck it into the So cool. Sausages are just getting nice and brown. Which is good. This is a one pot recipe, so you're only using one pot and one pot only. What I would say is make sure the pot is big enough to hold like a litre of stock, just with all our veg in it as well. What you're going to do now is you're going to wash your leeks. When I say wash your leeks, you're just going to put it under cold running water, mixing it about to get all the mud that's in between it. So this is how you wash your leeks. You just go round the edge, round the sides, and then just use your hands to kind of get all the mud out. Once you've done that, that's then prepped. So what I would do now is just use a bowl and just tip them in. That's your leeks all prepped, washed, and ready to go. Okay, back to the cooking. So you might be able to hear that the sausages are sizzling away. If you feel like the heat's too high, you can just turn it down. I'm going to turn mine down a little bit. Now that your leeks are cut, you're going to chop up the onions. Onions are the exact same. Not that you have to wash it, but just finely chop them. So peel the onions off, the outer bits off, put them into the food waste, and then just peel your onion like we do. So nice and off. What you're going to do now is you're just going to chop it up nice and finely. So like we've mentioned before, just in increments, and then just chop up. And then with your onions, you're just gonna then put them into the same bowl as the leeks. After 10 minutes, when your sausages are nice and brown, just keep an eye on them because you don't want to burn the sausages. It doesn't really matter if they're fully cooked just now, the sausages. They shouldn't be fully cooked anyway, until you add all the other stuff in. But just make sure that they've kind of all got a nice brown coating on it. Once you've done that, you're going to put in your leeks and your onion for about 10 minutes. Now you'll hear it more ferociously boiling away. It's only just because there's water obviously in the leeks. Just make sure that they're all kind of filled. What you do want to do there is kind of just turn it down a little bit on heat when the leeks and onions are in. If not, you'll get them burning to the bottom of the pan. Now that you've done that, you're gonna prep the garlic, the potatoes, and the apple. So these potatoes, they have been washed, although they might not look like they have. What we're going to do with these is we're just going to chop them in half, then chop them in half again. So you basically put them into quarters. You can use new potatoes, or in your packs you have just normal all-rounder potatoes. You can use them. With those ones, obviously you would wash it, peel it, and then put them in. So obviously depending on your size, you want them all to be kind of the similar size. So if you've got smaller potatoes, obviously don't cut them into quarters. The bigger the potato, obviously the bigger the potato, the longer it takes for them to cook. So you just want to make sure that they are all kind of roughly the same size. Do one more. This is around about 500 grams of potatoes. If it's slightly more, slightly less, doesn't really matter because it kind of beefs it out with the leeks and the onions. Obviously, just remember to keep stirring those. So I put it up a little bit, heat-wise, just because you want the onions to start kind of browning off. So that's your potatoes prepped. Now what you're going to do is you're going to prep the apple. You're going to peel it, coat it, and then chop it. So to peel it, it's just like you would normally do with potatoes. Just peel around the edge. You can kind of peel it before you chop it, or I would maybe chop it up into smaller chunks and then peel it. But either or, it's completely up to you. Put the peels obviously in the food waste. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to coat it. So coating it just is chopping around the core. The core then goes into the bin or the food waste again. Then you're left with the apple. You're just going to chop it into chunks. And then chop it in and just put it into the potato. You might think it's quite weird to have apple being in a stew, but pork and apple go really nicely together. Give some additional flavour. It adds a bit of a sweetness to it as well. Good. So like I say, just keep stirring that. Put it up, put it down, kind of just make sure that it's starting to cook well. Once you have done that, once it's been done for about 10 minutes, what you're going to do now is you're going to chop up your garlic. You can crush your garlic or you can finely chop it. It's completely up to you. Obviously, like I've been doing in the last couple of recipes, I'm using puree or garlic, chopped garlic already. What you're going to do is you're just going to put that into the pot. Garlic's a great substitute again for salt. So if you don't want to if you don't want to salt your recipe, at least you've got and then what you're going to do is you're going to add in just a teaspoon of thyme, dried thyme. So, teaspoon of dried thyme, chuck that in to your pan. So your garlic and your thyme's in with your sausages and your onion, and just mix that about. Once that's been mixed about, then you're going to add in your mustard, and your honey. So it's 1 teaspoon of mustard, 1 teaspoon of honey. So just put it straight into the pan. Mustard as well. And then just put that in. It should have really condensed down. When you add in the leeks and the onions, it might look like it's going to go right to the top of the pan, but as soon as it kind of welts down, it's pretty neat. Let that kind of, let the honey and the thyme and the mustard and the garlic go across all the potatoes and leeks, the leeks, the sausages and the onions. And then what you're going to do is you're going to add in your potatoes and your apple. Just try to be careful not to break your sausages. And then the only thing that we've got left to do is we're going to add in a chicken stock. So how we're going to do this is we're going to make 600 ml of chicken stock. You can either do just add water into your stock, into your stew, and then you can dissolve the stock into the pan. So that's 600. And then what you're going to do, you've got your stock cube here. You can either chop up your stock, finely chop your stock, or you can just chuck it straight in, but your stock cube in goes the stock cube as well. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to mix it in. Now, that is on a high heat. It might take a bit of time for everything to kind of dissolve and go into each other. If it does get a bit too watery, or if it does get too dry, I just add more water. Similarly, if you think you've added too much water, you can just take some out. But that is how it should look. Smells really good as well. What you're going to do after that is you can add salt and pepper to it at this stage as well. Then you're just going to put it on a light simmer for around about 20 minutes. So make sure to bring it to the boil first and then bring it down to simmer. You'll know it's boiling when it's bubbling right on top, ferociously on the top. This is a great one if you're just not feeling like sitting around or standing around the cooker for hours on end. I guess you probably could put this into a slow cooker as well. That would be an option. I don't know how it would look or what the timings would be, but that would be an option as well. Because it is just hard products that are going in. So as soon as it comes up to the heat, then you can take it down, simmer it for around about 20 minutes, and just put a cover on it when it's simmering. Just put a cover on it to stop the water reducing your stock. you're really just waiting until those potatoes are cooked. As soon as the potatoes are cooked, you know it's ready to go. So keep stirring it, putting it. So come back in about 15 minutes. That'll hopefully be cooked. We're going to put the pan lid on it now and let it simmer for that 20 minutes. So after about 10 minutes, 10 to 20 minutes boiling away on our induction, that is the stew ready. I should have reduced slightly. That's how it looked at the end. I'll just get it for you. Okay, it's nice and runny with sausages, potato, even the odd apple. What I was thinking when this was cooking is you could actually add in, if you wanted a more of a sweet touch to it, you could have added more apple, like you could add apple sauce to it to make sure the apple taste kind of comes through. It does taste or smell and taste really timey. Obviously, with food hygiene, just make sure that the sausages are cooked over 75 degrees. How we do that is we use one of these thermometer, take it off the heat indirectly, chuck it in, and that should give you what temperature the sausages are. So the sausages temperature it says is 93 degrees. So you know they're cooked. That means that is ready to serve. I would serve that with some crusty bread, and it's just a nice winter warmer. I'll see you next week. We're going to make cottage pie, one of our family favourites to do. So yeah, check back in next week. All our recipes are on our website. So I'll actually show you on my iPad here. So we've got a CookAlong recipe website that has all our recipes from past and future recipes that we're doing, along with all the videos that go alongside it. So hopefully you can get cooking along with us. Thank you so much for today. Remember, it's always live cooking, real community, and check back next week for cottage pie. Thanks again to Wallyford and Cash for Kids. You guys rock, and you actually allow us to do all this, which is great. See you in a bit. Bye bye.